Welcome to China Connect, your fun guide to real China. Explore and uncover its intriguing stories. Let's go. Today we're putting on our serious faces and delving into the world of economics. And let me tell you, it's just as exciting and full of surprises. So fasten your seatbelts, brothers. We're going on a wild ride into the world of China's foreign trade. First up, let's talk numbers, because in the world of economics, numbers are everything. China's General Administration of Customs just released their report card for foreign trade in the first half of the year, and boy, has China been busy. The total value of imports and exports of goods reached a whopping 20.1 trillion yuan. Let's take a moment to appreciate just how huge that is. If that number seems abstract, let's put it into perspective. That's a 2.1% increase compared to the same period last year. It's the first time in history that the scale has broken through 20 trillion yuan. Now, let's talk about the new three, no, not a new boy band, but three products that have been blasting off like rockets in the export market. We're talking about electric manned vehicles, lithium batteries, and solar cells. Together, these bad boys saw a total export increase of a staggering 61.6%. They've become the new driving force for exports. Talk about a power trio, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows. With the global economy's growth sluggish and external demand slowing down, China's foreign trade is feeling the heat. The second half of the year is not looking too bright, with insufficient momentum for recovery in external demand, putting the pressure on to maintain steady growth in foreign trade. However, the spokesperson of the General Administration of Customs, Lu Daliang, is optimistic. He pointed out that China's economy has strong resilience, great potential, and a long-term upward trend. With a series of policy measures continuously coming into effect, China is confident and in a position to achieve the goal of stabilizing and improving the quality of imports and exports. Let's move on to the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI. In the first half of 2023, China's imports and exports to the United States fell by 8.4%, while imports and exports to the European Union saw a slowdown in growth to 1.9%. However, imports and exports to countries along the BRI increased by 9.8%, 7.7 percentage points higher than the overall growth rate, and accounting for 34.3% of the total value of imports and exports. What does this mean? It shows that the international market layout, which promotes close regional cooperation and diversified trade, continues to be optimized, just like how we optimize our strategies to beat the toughest bosses. Tu Xinquan, Dean of the China Institute for WTO Studies at the University of International Business and Economics, pointed out that with China's industrial structure continuously transforming and upgrading, high-tech products are showing increasing advantages and competitiveness in the markets of developing countries. The diversification of foreign trade markets is continuously achieving new results, and the new momentum for the growth of foreign trade continues to increase. Just like the ever-changing world of YouTube, where new content creators bring fresh ideas and perspectives, the world of foreign trade is constantly evolving. With the changing landscape, new opportunities and challenges arise. China's imports and exports to ASEAN, its largest trading partner, stood at 3.08 trillion yuan in the first half of the year, an increase of 5.4%, accounting for 15.3% of the total value of imports and exports. Over the same period, China's imports and exports to the other 14 members of RCEP reached 6.1 trillion yuan, an increase of 1.5%, contributing more than 20% to the growth of foreign trade. Lu Daliang, the spokesperson of the General Administration of Customs, said that the next step is to focus on the customs inspection and quarantine rules involved in RCEP. Improve relevant regulations and systems, upgrade the customs informatization operations system, standardize and simplify customs procedures, continue to optimize the customs clearance process, and reduce the customs clearance costs of enterprises. Lu also pointed out that in the first half of the year, 44 customs inspection and quarantine cooperation documents were signed with countries participating in the BRI, 30 of which were agreements on the admission of agricultural and food products. This continued the trend of facilitating trade cooperation, much like how companies work together to create cross-platform experiences. It's all about cooperation and making things easier for everyone involved. For instance, an international trade single-window memorandum of understanding was signed with Iranian Customs, an AEO, authorized economic operator, i.e., certified operators. Mutual recognition arrangements were signed with the Philippines, Costa Rica, and Uzbekistan. Looking forward, customs will continue to upgrade and develop various bilateral cooperation mechanisms with countries involved in the BRI, vigorously promoting cooperation in areas such as trade security, inspection, and quarantine, and making new contributions to paving the Belt and Road, this road of happiness that benefits the world, even wider and farther. Now, let's dive into some expert analysis. In the context of a downturn in trade among the world's major economies, China's imports and exports maintained a growth trend in the first half of the year, and the scale exceeded 20 trillion yuan for the first time in history, demonstrating strong resilience and competitiveness. However, in June alone, affected by the high base and slowing external demand, both export and import growth rates turned negative year-on-year. Among them, exports fell by 8.3%, and the decrease expanded by 7.5 percentage points, the lowest since the second quarter of 2020. Wang Qing, chief macro analyst at Dongfang Jincheng, pointed out that the downward momentum of the overseas economy will continue, and the weak trend of external demand will continue in the short term, coupled with the high base of exports in the third quarter of last year. It is expected that China's foreign trade exports will continue to be under pressure in the second half of the year. However, with the support of stable foreign trade policies, the recovery of private enterprise exports is faster, and the growth momentum of new foreign trade businesses, such as cross-border e-commerce, is good. In addition, the robust export of the new 3 will help alleviate the drag on exports due to insufficient overseas orders. In the first half of the year, China's foreign trade exports fell year-on-year in US dollar terms, but due to the relatively large fluctuation of the RMB exchange rate, especially the recent depreciation of the RMB, the decline in exports in RMB terms was less than that in US dollars. Overall, the foreign trade situation in the first half of the year basically corresponds to the global economic and trade slowdown. From the perspective of export direction, in the first half of the year, the proportion of developed economies such as the United States, Japan, and Europe in the total export amount declined, while the proportion of emerging economies such as the Belt and Road, ASEAN, Latin America, and Africa rose. This reflects the further optimization of China's export market structure and the enhancement of its ability to withstand external shocks. Hu Jianquan, former dean of the Ministry of Commerce Research Institute, pointed out that in recent years, the proportion of China's exports to the European and American markets has shown a downward trend, and ASEAN has become China's largest trading market. Coupled with the rapid development of the Belt and Road market, a basic plate for foreign trade has been formed. With the stable development of the economies of Southeast Asian countries, their market share will steadily increase. China is currently negotiating an upgrade of the free trade agreement with ASEAN, which is believed to further promote the growth of trade and investment. If we can make full use of the already effective RCEP agreement, activating China-Japan-Korea trade will bring huge development potential. This year is the 10th anniversary of the Belt and Road, and the growth of Belt and Road trade and investment still has tremendous potential. Enterprises should pay great attention to strengthening trade and investment with countries along the Belt and Road and promote economic prosperity through active trade. Lastly, Hu suggested that the growth of the new 3 exports shows that enterprises have seized the new opportunities for environmentally friendly and low-carbon development and have formed new competitive advantages in technical level and product quality. We should seriously summarize its development experience, discover other potential goods as soon as possible, and cultivate more advantageous products through supporting policies to adapt to the new changes in the demands of the international trade market. And there you have it, brothers. The world of foreign trade may seem complex, but it's just like a game of chess, full of strategies and moves. Thanks for joining our China journey. Like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. Drop your questions or ideas below. Let's keep exploring this fascinating nation together. See you in the next video.